We have a big difference on issues. You see, last year in the primary, he expressed his passion. He said, I am a strong liberal Democrat, August '87. Then he said, I am a card-carrying member of the ACLU. That was what he said. He is out there out of the mainstream.
Welcome back, Darwin. That was then Republican presidential nominee George H.W. Bush criticizing his Democratic opponent Michael Dukakis for being a, quote, card-carrying member of the ACLU. Card-carrying, a phrase that echoed condemnation of card-carrying members of the Communist Party during the McCarthy era. Of course, I remember it. Well, today, our current Republican administration, led by the president, is asking the ACLU, the American Civil Liberties Union, to do the government's job for them. In a court filing yesterday, the U.S. Justice Department argued that the ACLU, the same organization that Bush once attacked, is to use its, quote, considerable resources and their network of law firms, NGOs, and volunteers to help unify parents separated from their children at the border. The ACLU, which is representing migrant families, pushed back in a statement noting the government appears to be taking the remarkable position that it is the job of private entities to find these parents, and pointing out that it was the government's unconstitutional separation practice that led to this crisis in the first place. Well, late this afternoon, the judge in this case, overseeing the case, rejected the administration's proposal and said that reuniting the families was 100% the responsibility of the administration. According to NBC News, out of the 2,550 children who were separated from their parents after crossing the border, more than 570, about one-fifth, are still in government custody. Well, I'm joined right now by NBC News correspondent Jacob Soboroff. Jacob, you're on top of this. You're there. Tell us about it. The ACLU, I have to tell you, having lived through that campaign back in '88, when basically George Herbert Walker Bush accused Dukakis of being some sort of hopeless lefty because he dared to associate with the ACLU, which a lot of people on both sides of the aisle do respect that organization because it helps out people who aren't too popular. And that's the people that need help in our legal system. But your thoughts about this new reliance of the Trump crowd on the ACLU?
It is a bizarro world, Chris. And to watch that clip, you think about it. The Trump administration wants to put the ACLU at the center of this, not because they want to be buddies with the ACLU, but frankly, because they have absolutely no plan to put these kids back with their parents. We're talking about the administration that separated 2,551 kids from their parents down at the border in this systematic way that had never been done before. I was on with you from down there. I saw those kids in the cages. I will never see anything like that again. And I don't think many of us in our lifetime will see anything like that again. And now the administration is saying, you know what, we separated them, but we don't really know how to put them back together. So the organization that is suing us will just suggest, hey, why don't you guys do it? And we'll be the supporting player. And the judge said, absolutely not.
Well, I hear we got a pretty good line on the kids who are here, who are separated from their parents, who are in America, in foster homes or anywhere elsewhere. But we have no line on those who were sent back, deported back to their countries of origin. And the question is, how would the ACLU be able to find those people down there any better than the U.S. government, which has embassies, consulates, diplomatic people all over those countries and spies? We got everything down there in those countries. They would seem to be better equipped than the ACLU based here to find those parents.
And by the way, Chris, those are the vast majority of the kids that still aren't reunited with their parents. There's 572 that still aren't reunited. 410 of them, those parents were deported out of the country before they had a chance to be reunited with the parents. So the judge said today, why don't you guys appoint somebody, government, one person to run this whole operation? You're the United States government. This is the judge suggesting it. How about somebody from the State Department? How about somebody from Health and Human Services? Maybe you guys team up, the both of you, to come up with a plan, actually, to go to the consulates, like you said, Chris. It's not like it's complicated. It is a no-brainer. These people are going to go to the consulates, say, my children are still in the United States. I want to get back together with them. The rules are I can't come back to the United States, so figure out how to get my child, who's literally in the custody of the U.S. government, sitting in the country, back to me here. It is a no-brainer, but the government shirked its responsibility, at least in that proposal. And the judge just ripped right into them and said, this is not acceptable. This is unacceptable.
You know, in the old days, the governments of the United States, the administration like Roosevelt's, would find some business leader, someone who knew how to get things done. It could be Bernard Baruch or somebody like that, and they'd find one of these Lee Iacocca type and say, "You're pretty good at doing this, of organization. Why don't you do this? Do something for your country for the next several months and get this job done." Why don't they do that? Why doesn't Trump find one of his smart business types who know how to get things done and pick him or her for the job and say, "Here's something you can do for your country the next few months and for mankind"?
Well, let me ask this. Why didn't they put somebody like that in charge of the policy in the first place when they started separating these children, so they knew where to find them at the end of the day when they decided they were going to reunite them with their parents? I guess that the answer is they never thought this through. They still obviously haven't thought this through. On the first part of the reunifications, when they reunified about 1800, they had this commander that was normally in charge of natural disasters come in and reunify the first group of kids that were sort of the low-hanging fruit, the ones that were easy to pair back up with their parents because they happen to still be here. But now they're left searching again for this leader to figure out who can put all these kids back together.
Hey there, I'm Chris Hayes from MSNBC. Thanks for watching MSNBC on YouTube. If you want to keep up to date with the videos we're putting out, you can click subscribe just below me or click over on this list to see lots of other great videos.